It's Tuesday, March the 24th, 2026, and this is Denison Forum's Daily Article Podcast. I'm Chris Elkins, narrator. Today's daily article is authored by cultural apologist Dr. Jim Denison. The Dow surged 631 points yesterday after President Trump said that the U.S. and Iran have held, quote, very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East, end quote. In response, the president postponed strikes on Iranian power plants for a 5-day period. However, I'm following a different story today that I believe to be enormously significant as well. I have not seen it widely reported, which points to my point. According to the Los Angeles Times, West Hollywood's City Council has unanimously approved what the article calls a, quote, registry of multi-partner domestic relationships. The writer explains that West Hollywood is now the latest of a few cities in the U.S. to pursue legal protection for groups of more than 2 adults living in a single household who are romantically or otherwise committed to each other, end quote. Advocates claim that such protections are needed for a broad group of people, such as immigrant households, that depend on extended family members for child care and support. Multi-generational families living together would be another example. And, of course, the ordinance is intended to, quote-unquote, protect polyamorous households where multiple sexual partners live together. Even though I strongly disagree with polyamory on biblical, moral, and practical grounds, I understand that our secularized culture does not typically legislate morality with regards to such consensual behavior. For example, though 90% of Americans consider married people having an affair to be morally wrong, adultery is not illegal in the U.S. But here's the part of the article that could easily be overlooked. The West Hollywood City Council also, quote, outlawed discrimination against polyamorous people and others in non-traditional family structures, and has added family or relationship structures as a protected class in the city alongside race, religion, gender, and other categories, end quote. The anti-discrimination law will go into effect in mid-April. Will it mean a church or ministry would be forced to hire someone in a polyamorous relationship? What about Christians operating a business? What about believers who use their influence to defend biblical morality in this context? Would today's daily article be illegal in West Hollywood? For several years, I have spotlighted the 4-stage strategy employed by LGBTQ advocates in our society. Normalize immoral behavior through popular media, legalize such behavior, stigmatize those who disagree as homophobic and otherwise dangerous, and criminalize such opposition. Today's discussion is one example of the 4th stage. Jane Goodall, the famed British primatologist and animal rights activist, once warned, "The greatest danger to our future is apathy." However, as a strong advocate for LGBTQ causes, she meant her warning in precisely the opposite way I'm endorsing it today. It is human nature to focus on issues that seem most relevant to us personally. This fight or flight response is our natural automatic reaction to stress or danger. Whether you attribute it to evolutionary development or God's design, and I choose the latter, you can understand the need to evaluate all experiences, including this article, through a prism of personal relevance. Consequently, unless you live in West Hollywood or in the few cities in Massachusetts or on the West Coast where polyamorous protections have been enacted, this threat to religious liberty can seem remote and thus less relevant to you. But that's only because we tend to overlook how this strategy works. Statutes deemed legal in small towns can be advanced to major cities. What starts in one part of the country can advance to others. And when such actions rise to the level of federal civil rights, they can supersede states' rights, as occurred in 1973 when Roe v. Wade overturned abortion prohibitions in at least 31 states. Consequently, moral apathy is indeed the greatest danger to our future. Consider 3 reasons. The first is legal, as we've seen. When Massachusetts legalized same-sex marriages in 2004, the response by evangelicals would likely have been much stronger If we had foreseen that the U.S. Supreme Court would discover this quote-unquote right in the Constitution a decade later and impose it on our entire country, why should we think the same cannot happen with polyamory? The second is personal. Because Satan hates us, he will never tempt us to commit sin that will pay more than it costs us. He loves to turn down the moral lights in our culture room so gradually that our eyes adjust and we find ourselves in dark without complaint. And he knows that the sin we tolerate in others often metastasizes into sin we commit personally. This is why God warns in James 1 verse 15, desire, when it has conceived, gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. Because Satan always seeks to steal and kill and destroy, revealed by John 10 verse 10, death and nothing less is his ultimate goal. And moral apathy is one of the most effective means to this end. So, the third reason moral apathy is the greatest danger to our future is collective. Because we know from Isaiah 6 verse 3 and Revelation 4 verse 8 that God is holy, he must judge unconfessed sin. His word is clear from Isaiah 13 verse 11. I will punish the world for its evil and the wicked for their iniquity. He therefore warns us in Isaiah 18 verse 30, repent and turn from all your transgressions, lest iniquity be your ruin. Our Father deals with us as gently as he can or as harshly as he must. The more society chooses moral apathy, the more we force him to choose the latter. This is why Proverbs 14 verse 34 states, righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. observed, quote, cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right? And there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but one must take it because one's conscience tells one that it's right. Where do you need to take such a position today? Listeners like you support Denison Forum's mission to deliver news discerned differently. As a ministry nonprofit, we are fully donor supported. To partner with us, please donate today using the donate link in our show notes.